Hello, I'm the Cartoon Gentleman, bringing you Organized Chaos. Now, today's episode is a fabulous Cutie Mark Crusaders episode. But it does have one single flaw. For it has forced me to think. And that is a serious crime. How dare you make me think in a little kid's show? But regardless, Marks and Recreation forced me to use what little brain cells I have in my skull to think about what this episode really means. So, without further ado, here's Marks and Recreation. The episode begins pretty harmlessly enough. Then CMC are helping a young little girl trying to discover her cutie mark, as she apparently enjoys making circles. And in case you forget, don't worry. This episode will remind you so many times that this pony likes making circles. But the CMC seem to be swamped with so many different ponies trying to discover their cutie mark, including Pipsqueak. So, the CMC decide that the best way to solve this problem is by helping them all at once. By doing what else? Opening a camp. Okay, this one time, I'm willing to put my feelings for a crossover between MLP and Ruby on hold for a crossover between MLP and Camp Camp. Can you just see David Pony trying to help out all these campers find their cutie marks? That would be the best episode ever! So it appears day one of their version of Camp Camp is a complete success, drawing in a large audience of all ponies trying to discover their cutie marks. They even get Circle Pony her cutie mark in haikuing. But let us not forget, her talent may be haikus, but her passion is circles. You know, this is actually kind of entertaining. Round and round and round and round and get on with it! Okay. But all is not well, for it seems that one pony by the name of Rumble doesn't seem to have quite what it takes to be part of this camp. For everything they drew, he just has absolutely no heart in. You know, it's almost as if he doesn't give a crap. Well, even though Rumble clearly does not want to be there, the CMC do what the CMC do best. Lecture him on the importance of trying to find your special talent. But his response is quite the turn of the page.
I don't need your help, because I don't want to get my cutie mark.
Oh, nice. What? You do not want a cutie mark? Check your privilege, man. There's a griffin over in Griffinstone who would kill to have a cutie mark. Yeah, you bronies know what I'm talking about. So yes, Rumble has no intention of trying to find his cutie mark. Why? Well, because he's afraid it's going to put him in a box, and that he'll be doing nothing but what his cutie mark says for the rest of his life. And he does hold a good argument. Since the CMC have discovered their cutie marks, their adventures have been kind of limited to trying to find somebody else's cutie mark rather than showing off their own unique abilities or adventuring. And this is the part where one has to consider, does a cutie mark define who you are, or do you define the cutie mark? Leave what you think in the comments below. Well, seeing as he has absolutely no intention of trying to return to the camp, the CMC decide to just say, you know what, just let him find his own way. But that doesn't stop Big Brother, who apparently is a Wonderbolt, from taking center stage and telling him to do it again. And he does it again. Except terribly. Did I say terribly? I'm sorry. I meant to say that he completely upserts all the campers and the Cutie Mark Crusaders into his own little cult. Blank flanks forever. You know, I think Starlight would have something to say about that one. So he takes a page out of Twilight and Friends' Control the Minds of Other Ponies fan book and uses a sing-along in order to make all the fillies and colts join his side of the argument, saying that a cutie mark will force you into doing whatever it is that the cutie mark says for the rest of your life, despite what you may want or need out of life. And again, this is a peculiar argument. On one hand, Circle Pony is supposed to be making haikus for the rest of her life. But one cannot deny her passion for the circular motions. It's almost hypnotizing. You will gaze upon the circle of motions and tremble! So with all the campers gone, Camp Cutie Mark is all but spent. So what do the CMZ do? Well, if they can't solve the problem, they go to an even higher source. They play the family card. Say what you will, but there is no higher card than an older family member card. Trust me. Well, Rumble's older brother reveals that the reason he's so afraid of getting a cutie mark is because he already decided what he wanted to be in life. But with a blank flank on his rear, he's afraid that he may not get to be what he actually wants to be. Which again leads us to question, what entirely is a cutie mark? It's supposed to be the manifestation of the destiny imprinted on your butt. But what if you get something you don't like? What if you get something that you're not good in, and yet have to practice and to be good at? I mean, Rarity wasn't a fashionista overnight. It was just her interests. And this pony's clearly interested in flying really fast. But he doesn't want to be trapped in the box of something else that he doesn't like doing, but it's printed on his butt that he does it. I mean, we've seen the same problem dealt with that one giant-ass pony, what was his name? Troubleshoes, yeah, that was it, Troubleshoes. We've seen this kind of problem with Troubleshoes. He mistook his cutie mark for bad luck, when he was supposed to be a rodeo clown. Cutie marks are confusing. This is why this episode has sinned. It makes my head hurt. So, with the Cutie Mark Crusaders and a Wonderbolt, they managed to get all the kids back over to their side of the line, including Rumble, who just wants to be known as the greatest flyer in Equestria. But his big brother shows him that it's not always about what your cutie mark says, but about your interests. And he does this in a very interesting way. Cooking. And this episode ends with Rumble accepting that it's not the cutie mark, it's the pony. Except if your cutie mark says that you have to do something very specifically, or having an ambiguous concept. I hate cutie mark episodes. Like, I'm not saying I don't like the Cutie Mark Crusaders. I like Cutie Mark Crusaders episode, but it's when they're trying to deal with the philosophy of the cutie mark is when things get confusing. Does a cutie mark actually mean that their destiny is just doing that? Like, what if your destiny is raking leaves? You don't want to rake leaves for the rest of your life. Or taking out the garbage. Good God, can you imagine that kind of cutie mark? So, a janitor. Yes, a janitor. Thank you. Nobody wants to do a janitorial work. But if your cutie mark says it, then that's your job. Or, what if it's something that's more ambiguous? Like, Bon Bon. I mean, she's got 3 candies on her rump. What's that supposed to mean? Ugh. But as far as an episode goes, I really like this one. It does kind of fight the Cutie Mark Crusaders' idea of cutie marks, and I do have to appreciate it for that. It has a good, unique song, a unique plot line, a good slice of life, and the struggles of a younger sibling versus their older, more successful sibling. I would know. I have part of a litter of 9. Anyway, with that being said, I'm the Cartoon Gentleman. I brought you organized chaos. I recommend this episode, and as you excuse me, the circle calls to me.